Hey, I'm back, and I want to give you a little bit more information about some of the positions you're going to find in a talk show studio. And this little lesson is about the job of the floor director. Now, you've probably seen the credits scroll by and you say floor director, and you think, what does a floor director do? Well, let me give you a little background first, all right? For starters, if you've ever been to a live talk show, like for example, I've been to a series of live shows, and for example, when I went to the Jay Leno show, I would sit in the studio audience and you see Jay Leno down there on his desk, and you see the guest, whoever the guest might be, and you see the cameraman. And most people, when they are at the Jay Leno show, they're so focused on the Jay Leno, it's like, wow, look, there he is, or the guest. Me, I'm a little bit weirder, all right? I sit in the studio audience and I'm looking at the whole set because I'm a TV teacher and I'm interested in more than just seeing the celebrity. And one thing that you notice, or even if you ask anyone in the audience, is like, who's running everything that's going on down there? They would point to the floor director. Because the floor director, what you don't see at home on your TV, is literally right off of the desk is this guy who's telling people, okay, start talking, you stand over here, okay, you sit here, okay, Jay Leno, time to wrap it up, time to go to commercial. And when you really stop and you're watching this guy, it's amazing. It looks like he's running the whole show. The reality is, he's not running the show. He is running the floor. The question is, who's he running it for? He's wearing a headset, or she is wearing a headset, and they're listening to the director, who's sitting in another room that chances are is out of sight, that no one can see, and that's why the floor director is there. So the job of the floor director is to be the eyes and ears and mouth for the director, because the director's not in this room with Jay Leno. The director would love to say, Jay, start talking, but the director's too far away. So he talks through a headset and says, floor director, tell Jay to start talking now, all right? And so that is the job of the floor director, to speak or be the mouthpiece and the ears for the director, because the director is not in their room. So if the floor director is the eyes and ears and mouth for the director, exactly what are they communicating? What are they saying? And probably more importantly, who are they saying it to? Well, they're saying it to the talent. The talent is the guest or the host. They're not talking to the camera people, because the camera people have their own headsets on and they can already hear the director. The only people that don't have headsets out in the studio is the guest and the host. So, as a floor director, I'm going to be sending in some verbal commands and I'm going to be sending in some nonverbal commands. Now, when do I want to be verbal as a floor director? Well, when we are off the air and the studio's kind of loud and people aren't paying attention and it's kind of noisy, I might say, hey, ready to come in 5, 4, 3, and I'm getting their attention. I'm trying to be really loud so they're like, oh, we're starting, all right? And as a floor director, I need to do that. If you're a quiet, kind of shy, meek person, you're like, okay, I think we're starting the show. All right, it's probably not going to work. You got to be loud. This is the one time I'll let you yell in class, and I will not get mad at you. And if someone else is going to get mad at you, I'll defend you to the end, because you need to be loud as a floor director. All right, you don't need to yell at the top of your lungs, but get their attention. So verbal is when we are off the air. Obviously, nonverbal communication would be when we are on the air, when we are recording. When Jimmy Fallon is interviewing a guest, you don't hear the floor director in the background go, yeah, Jimmy, it's time to go to a commercial, so let's go, okay? You're never going to hear that. Instead, they're going to send in a wrap it up sign where you're swinging your finger around like this. This means wrap it up. All right. There's a few other nonverbal commands that while we are on the air, I might give, and one of them is cue talent, where I point and I cue talent. C-U-E, cue talent, all right, and what that really means is start talking. Now some people are like, wait, as soon as the show starts, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, don't you start talking then? No. You may recall 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the show comes on, we're zooming in, everyone's smiling, looking happy, then the microphones come up, then we can cue Jimmy Fallon, and then he can start talking. It doesn't happen right away. So we cue talent, but we do this non-verbally because we don't want to hear, okay, you can start now. All right, that's kind of bad. All right. So as a host, or as a floor director, you have those verbal commands, you have those nonverbal commands. It's really quite simple. Now, let me show you one quick clip, because it's also really, the job itself is simple, but it's also a real simple job to mess up. Let's watch. So here's my host and my guest. Eric, my host, is sitting on the left, and I want to cue talent.
sleeping?
I think we would all agree that our host Eric looks pretty stupid. Truth of the matter is this Eric's fault? And the answer is no, it's not. Yes, he has his head down and he's maybe not paying attention, but maybe he's been waiting for the last 5 or 10 minutes for the people in the control room to get their act together, so he decided, hey, I'm just going to take a little nap, and when you guys are ready, let me know. And so he puts his head down and starts taking a nap. The truth of the matter is, he didn't screw up, it's my floor director. What should they have done before we started? They should have been verbal and said, hey, Eric, wake up, we're about to start. The floor director never did that job. Before we went into this clip, I said being a floor director is a very easy job, but if you don't do that easy job, you mess up the whole show. And that was a great example of how you mess up the whole show. That's all for being a floor director. Hope that gives you at least a little taste of some of your responsibilities and what you need to do.